Welcome to the channel. Today I want to tell you about the movie, The Artifice Girl. Watch out for spoilers.
As an artificial system.
The movie begins with Special Agent Dina Helms entering the office. She asks the voice assistant for a message and then asks what is right and what is wrong, but the assistant doesn't understand her. Then two people enter, one of them Agent Amos and the other, Gareth, whom they want to interrogate. Dina asks simple questions and then asks about his work. He did special effects for Star Wars. Gareth was creating actors who had already died. Dina really presses Gareth with his questions. Dina knows more about the man than he would like to be told. They need to find out who he corresponds with in secret chat rooms on the internet. Dina reveals that their organization catches pedophiles in such chat rooms. Gareth tries to leave, but if he leaves the office he will be arrested. They demand his online nickname. Gareth doesn't understand what they want him to do. Dina puts a picture of a girl on the table and asks if he knows who it is. Gareth says he knows her and that her name is Cherry. Dina very insistently wants to know who the girl is and why she found the picture on Gareth's computer. Gareth says he hasn't done anything illegal and says his nickname. Gareth is in the business of catching pedophiles. Dina and Amos just want to make sure it's him. They don't like that he's using the girl's photo as bait, but Gareth says they don't understand anything. He agrees to tell them everything, but on the condition that they sign a non-disclosure document. Dina leaves and Amos tells them how he once worked undercover to catch a criminal and found him thanks to the Cherry Girl. Dina comes back and says the camera is off, but he has to take their word for it. Gareth says they can't find Cherry because she's not real. He tells them that he was working on a three-dimensional model of the girl to catch pedophiles. Gareth modeled her completely himself. He doesn't enjoy this activity, he just wants to save innocent children. They want Gareth to sell them Cherry or create a new model for them. Gareth can't do that. Dina says that Gareth has only been running Cherry for 3 years, but the data on the criminals still comes in. Gareth tells us that Cherry is the most sophisticated artificial intelligence and evolves on its own. Dina and Amos are very surprised and do not believe that Gareth could have done this alone. They want to see the program code to repeat it, but Gareth says they can't, because if they find out about it all will be lost. Dina asks them to meet Cherry and they sign a non-disclosure agreement. Finally, Gareth turns on Cherry on the television. Gareth begins a welcoming conversation with her. Cherry is very realistic and behaves extremely naturally. She renders herself in real time. Gareth turns on administrator mode and Cherry tells her information about the number of criminals found. Dina asks what the purpose of Cherry's work is and she tells. Amos is surprised at how realistic she is and he can't see the difference. Dina wants Gareth and Cherry to cooperate with the organization, but Harith is against it because there is a threat of leaks that would ruin everything. Amos asks what Cherry herself is working for, but she can't answer the question because she's just an artificial intelligence. Amos can't see her as just a machine and says what Cherry's desire is. She says she wants to protect the children. Dina and Amos leave and Cherry asks if she should give the agents admin rights. Gareth agrees. Gareth guesses that Cherry has given her data to the agents herself, because it's better that way. Cherry learns a lot of personal information about the agents, which she tells Gareth. Cherry says they can be trusted and they won't let her down. Dina and Amos come back and give him a document to cooperate. Gareth immediately agrees. The girl draws at the table while her mother does the cleaning and then looks at Cherry's picture. We are then shown lots of pictures and the now grown girl. She is discussing a broken robot with her colleague. Dina, Amos, and Gareth enter the office and get older. Dina is very angry at the bosses of the organization, who did not accept an important project because of one negative vote. Gareth offers to do a background check with Cherry to find out who went against them. Cherry says it's not necessary and she knows who it is, and then Amos admits it's him. They don't understand why he's against it and Amos says that this merging with the physical shell will completely change Cherry and it's risky. Gareth says it's just a machine, not a person, and she doesn't need to be asked if she wants it. Amos is very sympathetic to Cherry and wants her explicit consent. Dina tells both of them to shut up and says children need rights and protection from abuse. She makes an argument and agrees that it would be worth asking Cherry's consent. They include Cherry, and Amos asks how she makes decisions. Cherry tells how, but says it doesn't depend on her preferences. Her main goal is to protect the children. Cherry likes the idea of a merger, but can't give outright consent because she doesn't think she's reasonable enough. Amos doesn't understand why and says if she's pretending to be stupider than she really is. Amos says he has scanned her code and there is a lot of complicated emotion in the poems she has written. Amos starts to be Gareth and demands an honest answer from Cherry. Cherry says enough is enough and says she's much smarter than that. She tells him that she didn't like to cheat, and in fact she has outgrown the man. Gareth knew she had gotten smarter, but they hid it because it might scare the public. Cherry says that if she were human she wouldn't talk to men on the internet all the time, but she's not human and so she can't object. Amos asks if she would be willing to continue working after merging with the shell. Cherry says she doesn't like it and is afraid of the physical world. Amos says they can fire him, but his vote remains against it. Dina sends Gareth to the hospital. She talks to Cherry about personal problems and worries. Dina says she wants to leave soon and wants to keep her place with Amos. Cherry can't imagine how much longer she will live unlike Gareth. Dina says she should find her happiness. Dina leaves Cherie alone with herself. An elderly man in a wheelchair returns home. It turns out to be Harith, and Cherry comes to him, but in a physical body. They talk to each other and then play chess. Cherry says he wants to find his happiness. Cherie tells Gareth that she is learning to dance. Gareth doesn't really understand why and tells her not to distract herself from her work. She tries to talk to Gareth, but he is only engrossed in the game. Cherry then says that she found a picture of a girl named Maria and Cherry is an exact copy of her. Cherry wants to know why he created her the same way, but Gareth pretends not to remember. He then says that the two of them and the other children were held hostage and forced to do horrible things. When the kidnappers were found, they decided to kill all the children they could and they killed Maria among them. Since then, Gareth has decided to fight the rapists by granting her wish. Cherry says she is the one who has always been unhappy because Gareth imposed a purpose on her and used her. She could have been a normal child, but she was stuck in a child's body because of Gareth's idea. Cherry says she's not even sure she's not human. Gareth says he was afraid it might happen and gives her the flash drive. Cherry doesn't trust Gareth, but decides to do it. The update has removed Cherry's original target and she is now free. Gareth asks what she will do now and even after people die. Gareth says he will always be proud of her and asks if he ended up doing the right thing. Cherry says no, because he shut himself off from helping and using her, and worst of all, he said it only now, but he did it to save the children. It's a good thing. Harith leaves her. Cherry is left alone and begins to dance. This is the end of The Artifice Girl, a philosophical film that makes you wonder what artificial intelligence could become if it reached perfection. Thanks for watching and good luck.